Hey everyone, this is just going to be a quick one today just because I think it's only fair, to be honest. I'm actually sat on the balcony at the minute, as most people are when they're in quarantine, seem to be spending more time outside. But I think it's something that kind of needs to be said, and just my personal take on some of the stuff going on. Obviously, I just want to say, I'm no doctor and I'm not going to give any medical advice or anything like that, but I think it is super important. Obviously, COVID-19 coronavirus is now a global pandemic, and that's all you see on the news and social media at the moment. So it's only fair to address it. But this is the kind of point I just want to, my personal feelings towards it, and stuff I've seen from other people putting content out there and stuff. It's just that I think it's wise to address it. It's not wise to just carry on putting your own content out there and pretending that nothing's going on, because serious stuff is happening all around the world. A lot of people are losing their jobs and income, and people are dying. So there's some serious stuff that is going on. So if you just basically, my own opinion is, I think that people should be carrying on doing, if you have an online business or start something where you can still carry on doing what you're doing, I'm of the opinion that you should be carrying on, because I, for one, want to carry on hearing people's ideas and expertise and things like that. That's something that I want. So if I want it, I'm guessing other people still want it. It's just a guess. Maybe not. Obviously not everyone. So if you are doing something online or sharing some content or whatever it is, I'm guessing if you listen to this, you are either interested in creating content or you already do. My suggestion is to carry on. If you have an email list or something like that, then yeah, by all means, definitely refer to coronavirus and stuff going on. Don't just try and do stuff. But it also links on to something that I have seen some people do, which I personally don't agree with at all, is I've seen some people almost trying to sell off the back of it. And it's just so obvious when someone's doing it. It's you don't normally do this sort of stuff, and now you're just trying to slide into it. It's I don't know. Personally, that's just my opinion. I don't think you should be trying to make money from this situation. By all means, help people in any way that you can, and if that means that you can provide some sort of, so if just for example you're in the personal finance niche, then yeah, there's probably loads of things right now which you can do to really help people with the current situation. So making content on that is super helpful. But what I mean is, don't just start putting on face masks and hand sanitizer and stuff. That's not really relevant, and it's quite obvious you're just putting it there to make a quick buck. It's not really. It's my personal opinion anyway. Maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't. I don't know. It's just how I feel. But something that I have written about a bit in this last week, and something that I've always taken a massive interest in is just the world. When I say always, I mean for the last probably 5 years or so, is the monetary system and the whole financial system. And I'm just finding this so fascinating. Maybe that's not the right word, because it is crazy what could potentially happen. But it's almost human behavior and things like that, is because that's all the stock market is. In case you don't know, it's not really going up in price and things over time. It's actually more a case of, them printing loads more money. So the currency, your currency, the normal money that we use in day-to-day life, is not actually worth as much. That's really what's happening. But it's more a psychology. It's a human psychology. And it's really fascinating to see what people are sort of saying about the whole stock market crash and blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to share one story which I think explains everything that's going on in the whole world, not just coronavirus, but really particularly coronavirus at the moment is obviously the main thing. So all I want you to do is imagine the biggest stadium you've ever been in. So it could be 70,000 seats, it could be 100,000 seats, whatever the biggest. It could be a football stadium, it could be American football, whatever, baseball. Just imagine some sort of stadium, the biggest one that you've ever been in. And then imagine that you are handcuffed to the top bleachers. So you're right at the top of the stadium, as far away from the ground as possible. Now, there is a magic eyedropper in the middle of that pitch. And basically this eyedropper drops 1 drop of water after a minute and then doubles every single minute. So after 2 minutes, it would be 2 drops. After 3 minutes, it would be 4 drops. After 4 minutes, it would be 8 drops. This is quick maths. I can't go much further. 16, 32, 64, etc. You get the idea. Each minute, it doubles. The question here is, how long do you think you have until the whole stadium is under water? So you're at the top of the bleachers, you're handcuffed there. How long do you have until you need to hold your breath and the whole stadium is underwater? Oh yeah, the stadium's watertight as well, so water can't leak out anywhere. Seriously, have a think, have a guess. Maybe pause it if you've got a chance to pause it and think about it properly. How long have you got? Now, a lot of people think hours, or some people might even say days, weeks, months. Some people, can think years. The actual answer for a pretty big stadium is 50 minutes. Now, you might be thinking, but my stadium might be way bigger. Let's say this is a stadium of 100,000 seats. It would be 50 minutes and the whole stadium is full. Let's imagine your stadium is 200,000 seats, twice as big. It would only be 1 minute later, because every minute the dropper doubles. So even if you've got a stadium 10 times as big, it's probably only going to be sort of 2 or 3 minutes later than 50 minutes. So basically, if it was midday, by 12:50, you'd be holding your breath. But that is not the important message from this story. The important message is, at what time would you even notice anything was happening? So what time would you see there's a few puddles on the pitch in the middle of the stadium? If you had good eyesight, this is. The answer is after 45 minutes. So 44 minutes have gone past. You cannot see anything. You cannot see that anything is happening at all. You're just sitting handcuffed to the top of the bleachers, wondering why you are up there. And then within the next 5 minutes, you are underwater. And that is basically the whole story of exponential growth. And funny enough, like I said, it is very much linked to coronavirus, and that's kind of how I've used this analogy recently. But I heard this years ago from a guy called Chris Martinson, Peak Prosperity. And he's actually saying this is actually happening with everything in the world. It's happening with population growth. It's happening with the rate that we're using oil, the rate that we're using all commodities, so silver, gold, the rate that we use, cutting down trees and land. It's a worldwide problem at the minute, this exponential growth. And the whole point, the message that he's trying to put across to people is that once you actually see the issue, it's probably too late, because within the next 5 minutes, you can go from nothing to being completely underwater. And this is the kind of the issue with exponential growth. But this is also the case of what I've seen with a lot of people with online businesses, is that you can go months, years without seeing anything or feeling like you're not getting anywhere with your online business. You're writing content, or maybe you have a YouTube channel and you're putting out this content all the time, and it feels like you're not really getting anywhere. And then as soon as you actually start getting a bit of momentum, it can increase at an exponential growth. And you can go from, you hear it all the time, if you just listen to so many chats that I've had on the podcast, people that made $100, it took them 14 months to make $1, and then they go from $100 to $200 to $400 to $800 to $1,000 to $4,000, $10,000. this is quite a common story of what I've heard online. But most people are not willing to continue when they're not seeing results. So it's just kind of like a story that kind of contributes to everything at the moment. But anyway, it's sort of another really good analogy I've heard with that is, imagine your website, your blog, whatever it is that you have is kind of like a source. So it's just a trickle of water, tiny trickle of water. So it's the same with like your traffic stream. You might get a tiny trickle of water at the start, but then eventually it sort of gathers and it becomes more like a stream. And then eventually it gathers and becomes more like a river, and it can go into the ocean. That's another analogy. Basically the same thing. It's just a really important point to consider. And now with a lot of people, being forced to have more time, even if you're working from home, most people are finding that I'm speaking to say that they can finish their whole work day by like 1 o'clock. So they're just all of a sudden getting all this extra time, rather than just having that extra time and then just sticking Netflix on. This is actually an opportunity for a lot of people to use this time and learn either a new skill or put in that work to create that extra content and stuff. But use that time to actually educate yourself, and particularly things like financial literacy and like just learning what is going on with the global economy, because so many people are finding out the hard way that their safe, secure job just doesn't exist. There isn't such a thing as a safe, secure job anymore. Like, you can't like get tenure and just rely on a pension when you get to the age of 65. If you're, if you already are that age, then fingers crossed, hopefully everything will carry on going. But I mean, potentially what could happen with the whole financial economy and everything at the moment is a lot of people may even find their pensions stop paying them out. So a lot of people that are currently getting their pensions, I'm just thinking like my own parents and stuff like that. It is a concern, and I don't think a lot of people realise that. But anyway, it's not supposed to be like scaremongering and stuff like that. This whole podcast, it is more, I want you to realise that there is this opportunity that exists kind of right now, and make the most of it. I've actually tried to tell so many people about this YouTube series, which is just such a great, easy way to learn more about the financial system. And what I've done is I've put a link to this in the show notes. So if you go to maketimeonline.com/COVID, COVID, so maketimeonline.com/COVID, there is a link in there to this YouTube series, which is basically like 10 episodes, about 30 minutes each. Even Sarah has got into this series, and that's kind of saying something, because she gets, I literally see her eyes glaze over whenever I talk about financial stuff. So it's interesting. It's no complicated words. They put like animations over it, and it genuinely, like, if you watch episode 7 in that, it is literally like watching what is going on in the world out now. And he created these YouTube videos like years ago, so it's just amazing how relevant and on point it is for right now. And honestly, if you can learn what is going on with the whole financial system, it will help massively know what to do in the future. It just gives you more power. Knowledge is power and all that. But more importantly than anything, any of that other stuff, any of the business stuff, obviously staying safe and taking care of yourself and your family is far more important. So I've spoken to a lot of people who are sort of saying, they're so anxious and all they see is all this doom and gloom and stuff online and social media. If that's the case, just stop looking at the media. Stop watching, stop looking on Facebook and social media. I know it's easier said than done, but just turn off your phone and leave it away. Spend time making sure you're okay. Things like meditation, yoga, doing those habits, those skills and things to actually make sure that you are okay. Because if you're not okay, you're not going to be able to help anyone else. And so it's so important at this time, make sure you wash your hands, stay safe, try not to go out into public too much unless you super need to, rather than doing a shop every day. I've spoke to some people who say that they go to the supermarket every day because it's the only chance to get out of the house. by all means go for a walk in like areas where there aren't people and stuff to get out of the house, but try to avoid going to supermarkets that much, because that is where a lot of people are kind of gathering, and it's one of those places where people do actually go. So just basically make sure you stay safe, take care of yourself, and I will catch you on the next time.